So the idea is maybe a couple of years ago, we could hire somebody that could be good using technology to be efficient. Now we should choose for those people augmented juniors that they use AI. And instead of proudly dedicating 3 days to build a very complex Excel, just as an example, they've done it with less time, with the same responsibility of the output, because the way of building an Excel or other things is different.
So welcome back to the Leading in AI podcast. I'm Jericho, and in this show, I get to talk to some of the most interesting people in the AI space. And my guest this week is Joan Clotet, a talent and leadership advisor, author, and also podcast host who has spent nearly a decade building the concept of digital humanism. Joan is the author of Humanismo Digital and a former executive with nearly 40 years of experience in different organizations like Arthur Andersen as well as Ferrovial. So Joan, really glad to have you here.
Thanks to you. Thanks for having me, Jericho, and congratulations for your podcast project. I think it's a very good initiative. I've listened some of the episodes and it's very interesting. So congratulations and thanks again for having me.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Juan, for your words. So let's start first with the origin of digital humanism. So you started calling yourself as a humanista digital or digital
Mhm.
humanist back in 2015, years before the conversation now became mainstream. What made you coin this name, this idea, and what does it mean?
Yeah. But in fact, it has two different origins. No, and one side comes from inside. No, there was. But let me say, it's the first reason is from myself. No, in a process when I took a coaching program in 2013-14, and during that year I took some decisions based on self knowledge, and one of them is try to better understand who I am and how can introduce to myself with something more than the professional role. So our professional role changes during our life, but I want to try to an exercise to express who I am and how can I explain other people who I am with the less possible words. And just I began with very long explanations, and then I just try to leave most of them to see this is what I feel I am. We are very devoted to human people from the very beginning of my professional awareness. And also, I had the chance to work in the digital era, and that was something coming from inside. And the other one, it's related to, because it's more or less in the same time, no? Around 2015, this concept of digital humanism. No? So to put humans in the center in a progressively digital world, and a kind of paradigm to take into consideration the impact on people of any decision, from the strategy of the company and from the daily decisions that many persons and also machines take instead of us. So this digital human is a kind of umbrella, value people, and especially to recognize leadership style that takes into account humans at the right time.
Yeah, that's really nice. So I guess this concept of digital humanism, it's something that has been triggered after nearly 40 years of experience in different organizations, no? So you told me in the past that you work in Arthur Andersen, in Ferrovial, Grupo Zeta, and that made you, in the end, focus a lot in talent development as well as people. What's your main motivation for that, and why do you enjoy a lot by being with people?
Yeah. This is something that I recognize during the years, no? So it's not very usual that people very young with 15, 16, 17 years to really understand who they are, what they are good at, and what will they work in the next 30, 40, 50 years. And it was also a process for me, no? I began in consultancy, very close to IT, and then I switched into management positions still in IT, and then I switched to talent and people and human resources, no? And that's a process of trying to understand how can I add value to the company I work with. No, ideally, any company should be a lot very prepared people, very inspired, trying to be themselves in the best version. It sounds as an utopia. In my case, I was lucky and I'm grateful to being able to take some decisions to try to every decision to change to switch to something that I'm more comfortable with and that could combine my experience, my skills to better my work. So that's what I did. So it was not just a reactive process of somebody publishing a vacancy. It was in the other side, trying to understand what could be my next step if sometimes I change my job. And this permanent exercise to really understand what can we do to add value in the company we are, I think it's a very healthy process to end for anyone. Something more proactive than reactive.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. And after working on these companies, now you became independent. What prompted this shift to become an independent? And what have you learned about organizations from the outside that you cannot
Yeah.
see from the inside?
Well, probably the final process when we try to be closer to this ideal job, it's to invent your job. No, so in my case, was try, as any independent professional will tell you, it's to be free to decide every project, every customer, and try to be well to bring my value proposal and being 100% free to accept the projects where I really can connect with. So among others, I try to choose customers that they really believe in the human factor, not just declaring. One of my criteria is to really work with companies that really believe and invest in the people. No, and not, all the companies need people. Many companies are very technified, but at the end, not just services companies must organize, invest, hire, and take care of their people. So I try to focus to add value to these companies and try to connect with in environments and contexts that I feel more comfortable to make a team and to add value. And probably when you work from outside, you also can realize that you are free. So you can say what you think. Your cycle is not to the annual cycle or to get your bonus or to be worried about the consequence of your good and bad decisions. Just try to add value. And I think it's a very natural way of working for many people. Instead, never deciding to go to work for themselves, just to work as a freelance, no? Trying to understand, to connect to business challenges and try to add value, to say what you think. Not all the companies want to listen the truth sometimes, no? So this is what I try to train this muscle to really be free and this freedom in benefit of my customers. No?
Yeah, that's really nice. And right now, how do you try to help people when it comes to talent development? So I guess you provide
Yeah,
different services, right? So
yeah.
what would be like the main challenges that your customers have and how this could be maybe related to AI or digital transformation?
Yeah, because of my experience and history, so I worked all my life for services companies. So some from the very beginning in that big four companies, and nowadays some of my customers are also in this arena. So the idea is to hire talent, to be recognized in the market as a good place to work, and also AI is a very challenging. So to say, we are in the knowledge workers world. So the idea is the more tasks that AI can assume, also the reflection in time for all these companies to really understand what kind of things are people doing and progressively will not do because some tasks, some decisions are being delegated to AI. So the idea is also to help these companies to really understand what's around the business challenges, also the opportunities and risk of AI, and also as a consequence to keep investing in their team, but recognizing that they should be comfortable using AI for young people or younger people like you that you are finished your studies with AI beside you. It seems more clear, but for many companies and very successful companies, not so clear to this AI onboarding. It's not so easy, no? So I think that to be the onboarding of these capabilities, most of them humans and some of them not human, I think it's almost an art, no? And try to help them to really understand what's beyond, what are the opportunities, what are the fears also of their people, and try to make the better decisions to succeed in this very competitive world.
Perfect. So also talking about this concept of AI in the realm of talent development. So one of the central ideas in your book is that humans augmented by technology will be the ones who make the real difference. So in practice, what does it actually look like in enterprises and how is AI right now in the sense of whether AI is augmenting the
Yeah.
capabilities of the employees or is basically automating the processes and maybe in the future there would be no need for maybe these automized roles.
Yeah, in fact, it's all of them, as you know. No, yeah, at the same time, no, for some companies that have invested for the last decades in technology to be more efficient, to personalize the services, it's quite clear. So this is just a new, sophisticated technology to invest. And for others, it's to say, "Whoa, this is not just to mechanize processes. This is not just in for blue collar workers. It applies to any of us." No. So is this kind of cognitive partner from all of us, beginning from the CEO. So the idea is also to really understand what augmented human means. No, so it seems to be something to the opposite to let's invest in AI because we don't need people. It is not just something fluffy to say no, let's augment our people. But in the same way, just because maybe I'm old, no, but 30 years ago we also had Excel or other kind of not so sophisticated technology to be faster, to be more reliable. And this is a way to amplify our job, our value. Because here again, we have also more sophisticated technology to really understand it, to do better our job, including progressively delegating some of our tasks to this technology with the combination of these human and technical skills will be probably the key for success. No? And for some companies, it's very key because they respect the human value to say, I want a team. People are free. We can buy the technology. We have the money, but people is free. So they can go anywhere if they are able and have opportunities. No? So the idea is let's keep our people, our business experts, the people that really creates, manage change with technology, and let's accompany them to really understand this technology and to amplify their impact maybe 30 years ago with something so simple as an Excel, and nowadays with all this portfolio of AI solutions.
Sounds great. And now also with the same topic of AI in talent development, as you may know that AI is evolving and it can do more complex tasks and in more cognitive load. So in the case of human competencies, it will become much more valuable. Which ones you think that leaders should have and maybe they are not yet prepared for right now? And what kind of competencies you think that leaders should focus on right now?
Yeah. I won't be very original, Jericho, as you can imagine, no, because I'm thinking about empathy, what connects humans with humans. So the genuine interest for the other, listening to make good questions, not just to people, also to screens. From we have also realized from 3 years ago, no, also things that maybe AI cannot do by itself. It can help us to really empower these kind of things, to understand context, for example, to understand what's the surrounding. So this is just on a screen, you make a question and you receive an answer, or you can mechanize some decisions. But to really understand where we are, where our people is, what should be the options, what are the feelings of the company, not digitized feelings, is something that a leader must understand, no? Beginning for their team. No? Also, this kind of promoting change, not just adapting to change. So to be able to connect with people, for them, not just to adapt to changes, to promote changes. So it's a big challenge to help everyone to really understand how their job will evolve in the coming years, to play an active role for that. It seems that you are really selling your chair, no? And in fact, I think it's something that good leaders should do, no? So help the people understand what other things, what different things, what things shouldn't be done, and what space and how much time do we earn in this case to do other things and to do more with the same resources, ideally. For some companies, as you know, is to say, I invest in technology, I look for return on investment, but I think ideally it's to have the right combination for both sides.
Yeah, sounds great. Maybe one of the, I would say, issues of leaders when it comes to adopting technology, like from companies company wide, would be change management. Maybe some people they really want to adopt the technology by because they really believe in that technology, and some people they are more reluctant to try new things. In your opinion, what's the best way to convince skeptics about using new technology? And maybe it's more on giving them the right expectations
Yeah,
to these people. What do you
yeah.
think are the mechanisms to for
Yeah.
this issue of change management?
Well, this is a very good question because, as you know, in a group of people, probably it's different for 10 people than for 10,000, no? But it's a little group of proactive people, a little group of very reactive people. No matter what you do, they always be just waiting at the last moment. But there's a huge amount of people that can be let's say, influenceable on time, no? And it means to be open. The first thing from my experience at least is to really understand where people is. And in my experience, when I talk with professionals with several companies, I'll bet that they really don't know where everyone is. No, just to ask if they are, for example, if they see AI as a threat or as an opportunity. Some companies has progressed a lot and has done it very well, but I would say that most part of the companies are still exploring. And the starting point is to really understand what people thinks about these kind of things, because we all see news on TV about robots, about something that a journalist consider it's that it will have more interest, bad news instead of good news. No, so the investment to really understand with several surveys, I don't know, group work and surveys and one-to-one conversations to really understand where the starting point, because in the one-to-one conversation, is where, and you, if you invest to create the right space, you really can see not just where the people is regarding if they are open or not to be, to attend the training, or just to be where everyone, and beginning from that, you can really build to invest in all these people that is really, and I had many surprises in these years, no? From people with very near 60 years that were the more proactive, the more learning more fast, I don't know, maybe more scared about losing their job. But in any case, yeah, identify the people that really wants. It's to querer saber poder, to want, to know, and to want. No, and you don't really, you cannot easily understand if people want or don't want. They can attend the training, they can be there, but it takes too long. No, so this change management involves to really understand where we are, and also to be quite honest regarding what's the position of the company regarding this kind of investment. If human is something to value, something to protect and amplify with technology, or is one against the other. And to be honest enough, for some companies probably it's that the model, and to, because if not, people doesn't trust about the future. If people doesn't trust about the future, they will go to your competitors. This is something it's a challenge to be managed properly, and everyone should be in this process. I wouldn't say from months ago, from 2 or 3 years ago, I would say ideally, no?
Yeah, that sounds great. So when we were talking, I was thinking about how AI is affecting, for example, early professionals or young graduates. In the end, we're seeing that AI can automatize some of the, what I would say, administrative or more analyst work. What's your perspective on this topic, and whether it will be a problem not only today but also in the future?
Well, there are challenges there, no? Some very big companies recognize that they hire less young people, and they also recognize that the senior concept is different for them, because somebody has 2 3 years of experience is not the same. Just hire directly, but because some of the tasks that being done by us, it involves a learning and experiencing process that cannot be replaced. You are not senior by designation, no? So we have both sides of the coin, no? And I think from the new employees, and I've seen in some of my customers, no, we are hiring people similar to your profile. So people really very proactive, very open to change, and also very I don't have the word in English, habilidoso, very
Agile, maybe
sorry, yeah,
agile, or
yeah,
very
yeah,
like
very
yeah.
good using AI, because they finish it. They finish their graduates having ChatGPT or other things with them. No? So the idea is maybe a couple of years ago we could hire somebody that could be good using technology to be efficient. Now we should choose for those people augmented juniors that they use AI, instead of proudly dedicating 3 days to build a very complex Excel, just as an example. They've done it with less time, with the same responsibility of the output, because the way of building an Excel or other things is different. So to really understand this different profile, to hire these different people, it seems I go to the past. No, it's in 2004, 5, social networks began to arise. So you had to hire somebody expert in, I don't know, in social networks. For the recruiter was a problem, because they had to understand what kind of fraud that they. So we are in the same process. We have to really understand what kind of profile, what kind of technical and human skills do we hire from young people, that include and will include increasingly in time also the ability to manage also with responsibility this kind of technology. So everything is changing. The future is unknown for everyone. And the better the companies anticipate what kind of tasks are being done by humans right now and probably will be progressively delegated, and in consequence, what kind of juniors do we have to hire? What will be the progression in the coming years? And it's something that every company must define and coherently with this model, to invest, to train, to promote, because the career will change. I think that many companies are hiring a lot of people and then firing them because they are not doing the right exercise, and to really understand what they need and what kind of knowledge professional is arising since 3 years ago, especially when AI is there as something available for all of us. No?
Yeah, sounds really great. So you were talking about young people, and I see that you're a very advocate for young people, and you like to mentor young professionals as much as you can. So what would be your main advice to them, especially now in this age of AI?
Yeah. Well, again, not very original. I would say a couple of things. Invest in yourself. So, despite you are a good student and you have experience, knowledge, credentials, it's just the starting point because the world changes fast. So, invest continuously in yourself, especially or ideally also not forget in those skills that no AI will do in the future. So discover soon who you are, which is a lifetime process. But in any case, to recognize those kind of things that really helps you identify where you vibrate and cultivate those skills and this purpose for your life. Be ready, of course, to change frequently and learn from every change to stop and to see why did I choose this project and why did I leave this project? And from every time to conform really with ideal your ideal job, no? And if you can, and not everybody can, but if you really are have the chance to choose, try to choose also companies that respect you as a human, that let you be yourself, to take care of yourself, help you do your job, of course, and ask you for results and for productivity, but some level of sensitivity that you are not a human resource. You are, and maybe you will not be there for 10 years. Maybe you'll be there for 2 years, or cycles are shorter from time to time. But try to identify those companies that really let you be the best, that will invest in you, and you will be, let me say, happy enough to grow there and to add value. And nothing lasts forever. So try to select well the kind of company, what surrounds you, what kind of leaders, what kind of peers you have, and if you can choose, try to look for humanist leaders. No, I wouldn't like to work with robots, eh? And some people seems robots sometimes.
Do you think there will be a moment where we will have some robots as employees?
Well, we have some companies where tasks are done by robots from many decades ago, eh? But also at the other side, there are companies where the CEO is a robot. And 2022 and 2023, there are several companies, a software company in China, also a company in Poland. Probably these companies has also the opportunity to gain some space in the media, just to say we are one step ahead. But in any case, they decided to some decisions and some role are taken by a machine. I wouldn't like to work for no machine. I prefer good professionals, well equipped with technology available. But at the end, humans connect with humans. I want to work with humans and for humans. So robots can help, but I prefer to work in human companies.
Perfect. Now let's move on to our last question, which is our signature question. So, where do you think AI will surprise people the most in ways they're not even thinking about yet?
That's a very good question. And I would say when their simulated empathy or emotions confuse us enough to fully trust it. So it begins to happen. No, we have conversations and we see, whoa, it's listening to me. It makes good questions, and I have conversations that I don't have with humans. So to keep in mind that this is just technology, it's just data, it's just statistics. So we try, despite it will evolve and will be very sophisticated. Do not forget that it's just something which is to serve us, and it's just data, technology, and at the same time let's try to practice our humanity daily. And sometimes would be to disconnect that, to have a conversation with a human, not complete, not so intimate, maybe not free, but has this wisdom to choose what kind of conversation, what kind of question make to a screen or to a people. Probably both, but in any case, not to be engañado, not to take a, I don't have the words in English, but you know what I mean, no? So in this charming process that we are from since 3 years ago, very astonished about the kind of proximity criteria. It has no emotions, it has no real creativity. So it's a tool, very powerful tool, but don't forget that it's just simulation of empathy or emotions to promote these conversations. All these engines need data, but at the same time, we are the other side to make good questions, to have critical thinking, and to disconnect screens when it's needed. No?
Very insightful. Thank you, Joan, for your time. It was a pleasure to talking with you today. I really learned a lot about talent development and AI, and I'm sure this is going to be a very important topic now with the evolving trend of AI. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you sometime in the future.
Will do for sure. Jericho, thank you very much for having me, and see you in a while without the screen in the middle. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thanks to you, and thanks to everyone.